Will you just taste the soup? All right, I'll taste the soup. Where's the spoon?
Well, this is where we usually get the taste of soup right at 9 o'clock on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket, the Mark Elfenbein Show. And we'll chat with the show coming up next. It is yet to be determined the name, but we'll chat with them in a second. Few things to chat about before we move along. Number one, Ticket Fight Night was unbelievable, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow morning. Sod and I will be filling in for the Musers from 6 to 10. The Earth, Wind & Fire Lionel Richie concert was absolutely unequivocally spectacular. Had a blast with that. Shout out to Nebraska women's volleyball, which was the most amazing thing I think I've ever seen in my life. 93,000 people at a freaking outdoor volleyball game. That was unbelievable. I'm digging the U.S. Open. It's a bucket list for next year. I will be going. The United States, they're trending. The men, Ben Shelton and Tommy Paul. Ben Shelton's like 150-mile-per-hour serves, for crying out loud. And Tiafoe and Coco Gauff, and you got some really nice United States players. So that's pretty good. And do not forget, you have the Astros and the Rangers get started tomorrow with the Labor Day afternoon game and then 2 games on Tuesday, Wednesday. And it is Verlander versus Scherzer, and I have tickets for Wednesday's game, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Nervous yet?
No, not at all. But I know you guys are sweating bullets, talking a lot of you know what for 6 months, but that's okay. My Super Bowl pick, real quick. I got the Cowboys and the Eagles in the NFC. I got the Cowboys winning. I have the Jets and the Bengals in the AFC. I have the Jets winning. I have the Cowboys versus the Jets in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, and you're damn right I'm going to be there. In Vegas? Are you kidding?
You said the Jets.
The Jets and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
In Las Vegas. All right, I got to throw it to Sod for a second. He's got some things to hash out.
Well, I'm seriously debating either silence to Justin or chewing his ass out in front of all of you right now.
Oh, chew.
I'm going to chew his ass out.
Hold on, wait.
No,
I don't have my headset on yet. I want to be able to hear him. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. I want to hear this. Is great.
I don't know what I did. But
you upset Sod.
I'll just say this. He's been talking about this for 2 hours.
Really?
I cannot wait for Justin to get here so I can kick his ass.
Okay.
So chew away. Do you need some salt and pepper?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Hit me.
Well, so as I said, I was debating either silence or do I chew his ass out right now? And this effing inconsiderate idiot.
Oh, okay. I know what's happening. Okay.
And I'm not kidding in any way.
No, say that again. I want to hear.
Now I know what's
inconsiderate idiot.
Hold on. Wait. Silence so we can get a good clean drop. Go.
This effing inconsiderate idiot. And I'm not kidding in any way. This is very real.
Yeah, this is real because he's pissed.
Okay.
Just the highest level of inconsiderate BS from Justin.
I agree. And I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
What do you want me to do, Sod? Huh?
Say you're sorry.
What the hell do you do all day? I mean, what do you do for work?
Yeah, what do you do?
What time do you fire out of bed?
That's right.
That's none of your business. I do stuff you won't even understand.
On the internet.
Man, Sod's pissed.
He is.
He's pissed. What'd you do?
He's
Can we get some
asking me what time
context
I
here?
fired out of bed.
Did you not respond to him?
Oh, I love you, Sod. Yeah, no, I didn't text Sod back, I guess. That's what it sounds like. He wanted me to join his fantasy baseball league.
Right.
And he had been asking me for weeks, and I kept putting him off, and then
Fantasy
I guess he's tired
baseball.
of it.
It's September 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, but if you're real for about the next year, you go ahead and get ready.
That's
got
right.
you.
I mean, it's fancy baseball. I mean, you can't text back for 5 days.
5 days.
I just forgot.
Oh, horse hockey.
I don't know, man. I'm a bad texter backer, too. I will get a text from somebody.
Texter back.
Yes, it's a thing. I'll get a text from somebody, and I'll just completely forget. And then I'll go to text that person a week later and see the message, and I'll always have to say, I'm sorry, I forgot you texted
Yeah, that is
me.
the highest level of inconsiderate stuff, man. That's
How
really
many unread
neat.
you got?
Do you know anybody that's ever
one
done
right
that?
now. What's that?
Do you know anybody that's ever done that?
What, texted back?
Not texted back.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Does it bother you?
Not really. I mean,
Do you ever text them again?
it depends. It does depend. It does
Yeah,
depend.
because if you don't get a response, and then you're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Depends on who it is.
Like, for example, when you give somebody a gift, right?
Yes.
Like, for example, a coffee mug that has Extra Crispy and the Ticket logo on it. and you gave it to somebody, you would think they would take it with them because it was a gift.
Uh-oh.
Who forgot the
Who
mug?
didn't do it?
Saw the mug I gave somebody sitting over there on the table after a week had gone by. Just left it here.
Whose was it?
Don't know.
I thought you gave those to Monty and Mino.
I have mine. I can show you mine.
Yeah.
Mine's at home.
Oh, Mino.
I put
Mino?
Dr. Pepper in it every day.
I'm going to buy him a sweatshirt with Mike Tomlin on it, kneeling with my coffee mug in his hand.
I don't know if you know this or not, but he loves that whole bit of audio.
Oh, I know he does. And
He brought it up at fight night.
I know. Listen, I roll with it every time because I told him afterwards. He said, he actually came up and he said, man, sorry. I said, listen, I've been doing this 30 some odd years. You don't have to apologize. I said, this is part of the fun and this is what makes the ticket great. Because if you can just have fun with it, that's part of it. Like, if you think that Saad is really serious, you're crazy.
Oh, I'm
He's
serious.
dead
This is very
serious.
real.
He's dead serious.
I mean,
and that's why I want to let you know he's serious.
All I wanted to do was have some lunch,
That's
have
right.
some sushi.
And you're not invited.
Well, I mean,
No, he's not invited.
This whole thing is so
I'm not
freaky.
inviting him for you.
So freaky.
All right?
I mean, Justin invited himself and then just didn't text me back.
that's right. Who does that?
It was a power move. You need to be humbled. You're doing too much. You need to be humbled. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we have work in. Or what, do we have something?
It's a show, you know, and it doesn't have
It's
to
a
be
work in
named yet.
progress.
Yeah.
It's going to have the work in progress.
We're working
stuff.
on it.
By
All
the
right.
way, get used to DJ missing a weekend.
Yeah, it's going to happen. We're ready.
How about the I don't text back show?
That is, yeah. We don't even have a run sheet yet because no one would text each other back. We're about to find out what's coming up on our show.
You got the full 3?
The full 3.
Okay, that's
absolutely, yeah. Oh, yeah. How did Jerry Rice's kid do yesterday? I meant to look that up.
I didn't look that up either.
Text him.
Off.
I don't have his number.
Just text him the information or fake text him.
Yes, we'll get on that. We'll figure it out.
You can be a ghost texter.
No, I'm not good at that. I'm also not a guy that I've seen people do this that leave their red receipts on. Do you have an iPhone, Elf?
Yeah, but what did you say? Red
So you
receipts?
can have like the setting on your phone that shows the people that are texting you whenever you read their message.
Oh, I have no idea.
No, I don't
want
to do that. I don't need people knowing that
I
I'm
don't like
ghosting
that
them.
either.
I see that well, is this the same thing where it says delivered? Is that
No, there's like on my phone, there's a check mark that says they
Oh.
received it and a check mark that says they read it.
listen,
Yeah.
I'm older than you guys. I'm lucky it works.
Nuh-uh.
Sweat.
What works?
The iPhone right here.
You're Michael Penix Jr.?
Yeah, let me text you.
We need to figure out why the U.S. is losing to Lithuania right now.
Yeah, they're down
That's a
by-
problem.
It was 16. They cut it to 3. Now
That's
it's
a
back
problem.
to 8. So, all right. Anything special would you like to talk about?
Lando told me he's going to rip the Rangers at 10:30.
I may cuss at the Rangers.
Yeah, we got to build up a little more delay before he can.
I mean, they
Go
deserve
off.
it.
Yes,
They
do.
deserve it. I mean, look, first place, 7 All-Stars. I mean, come on. You should be in first place by 9 games already.
I have a theory on that.
Okay. Oh, see? Is that
There you go.
10:50?
10:30.
10:30. When
Yeah,
10:50 is, you'll think of something.
We got he texted me, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, he didn't text me back.
I don't remember.
All right, Kevin Landrum and Monty coming at you for the full 3. Special thanks to Jay King. Always great seeing you, brother. I'll get you the hat. Saad, I'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll be back doing the Musers from 6
Yes,
to
sir.
10. And Monty, Deddy, I'll see you tomorrow morning as well.
How dare you?
All right. All right.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to help. All right, I got to get the hell out of here. Goodbye.
Mark, thank you so much.
Oh, my
I love
pleasure.
you,
Thank
son,
you, Mark.
And I'm very proud of your kids, as I am all my grandchildren.
I'm sorry I got waiting in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seemed like
It's 9:18 here on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310. The ticket you have, whatever iteration of work in progress this is, Justin Montemayor, normally alongside DJ Ringenberg now, but he is not here. He is at a Pomeranian's quinceanera or something.
I think he took his dog to Burning Man.
Whatever he's got going on.
Trapped in the mud.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that because we'll get back to that in a minute. But in his stead for today, from 9 until noon, is my, not last week, but the week before's buddy to my left. It's the great Lando, the normal producer.
Thank you, Monty. I would appreciate it if you would refer to me as the official NIT break winner, as I am the current and standing champion of the NIT break. Thank you.
Did you get your check in the mail?
I am still waiting. Good. Still waiting.
Not paying you a cent.
No.
We're exploiting you for everything you're worth. Welcome to the world of college athletics, where you give us a lot of content. I don't pay you nothing.
That's right.
You finally got a taste. But yeah, Lando will be here hanging out. We'll have some fun. We'll do some Ranger talking. We'll talk about Colorado, college football in general, of course. At 10:50, we're going to go over some movie or TV scenes that we wish we could experience for the first time.
Right.
So that'll be fun. But right here, I want to get to Burning Man in a minute, because that may be a new segment, but, I think we want to spend more time on that and not take up our whole news. But I am now a proud owner of a giant water jug.
Okay.
And I'll be taking any questions anyone has at this time. But I can fit a whole 64 ounces of water in this thing.
That is a big Yeti cooler.
Is that a gallon, technically?
Yeah, it's a gallon.
I don't know how many ounces are in a gallon.
I think 64. We're dumb. We
in
don't
a gallon?
know.
It's like 128.
128.
So if I drink two of these,
thank you.
If I drink two of these, I'll have a gallon of water in me.
It'd be cooler if you did it like a gym bro and just had like the milk jug of water.
Yeah, but it's not cold.
True.
I want it to be cold.
Are you attempting to drink more water?
Yeah, I'm going to try to finish this thing before the news.
Oh, that's at 10:10.
I gotta go.
Is it full? Start drinking now.
So when Monty's not here for the news, we know where he is.
I think it should also be noted that he has a frozen McDonald's Coke.
Well, okay, no, it's a coffee, sir.
Okay,
you have to offset the dehydration.
I gotta offset my coffee with my water.
Gotcha.
At least I'm not like Bert Kreischer, who had one of these things filled with Kool-Aid.
Oh.
It was the zero sugar Kool-Aid. Come on.
It was?
I think it was just the little packets that you put in there.
You're just still going to be peeing
full of
dark yellow.
aspartame and
yeah,
cancer.
and red dye number 5 or whatever.
Everything will kill you
Mambo
nowadays.
number 5.
Yeah, no, that's not it either. But yeah,
So your goal is by 10:10 to drink all of the water in that. In that container.
Yeah, put some nice crushed ice in here.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I feel just a little bit better than everyone else on the show just by having this. Because you have a water bottle that's killing the earth.
Well, to be fair, I
don't even know if anyone else. He has a water cup that's small. I mean, you're going to be refilling that thing probably 10 times throughout the show. Same with Baldy. I won't have to move all day to refill this thing.
I'm setting an
Baldy's
alarm.
is bigger than mine.
No, that's not true. You plan to drink it by 10:10. Therefore,
yeah, but then I'm not going to drink again until tomorrow.
It'd be the last water you consume for the day.
Yeah, I have an hour of water drinking a day in me. The rest of the time, it's just nothing but Lipton tea or brisk tea.
So what inspired this?
I don't
Did somebody
know.
give you this container and you thought, I know what I'll do? Or did you shell out $75 for
No, it wasn't $75. I just felt like, I said, you know what? I didn't spend $24 on Amazon today. Let me go do that. It's like I already have the chef's knife and I had the little basketball game. I bought a little grabber.
Okay.
So I could, norm grabber. Today, yeah, I need a big thing to hold water in.
Well,
every time you take
every
time you take a sip out of that Dasani bottle, a sea turtle dies.
Well, let me take another one.
I think he planned that.
Yeah, just like I said, just
die,
feel,
Shelly.
He walked into the Cumulus Cafe, saw that particular water bottle, and was like, you know what?
Ooh, that's a
I like
one.
how Dasani puts a picture of a sea turtle on the back, so
you know which one. Yeah,
with the name of the turtle, and each bottle is individualized, like a Coke bottle.
So I've done my part for today, and that's not consume a ton of water bottle. Don't worry about my little styrofoam cup that I have right here.
I see that too.
It's a little styrofoam cup.
We
Not
will
that
check
many.
back in on your water consumption at 10:10.
I have an alarm set.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Oh yeah, I need like a little line to see where I am, but I can't really tell. It's all the whole thing is black.
That is the downside. What?
The whole thing is black.
That's the downside of that one is you can't see how much water you got in it.
Yeah, that means I can always scoreboard people and just say, yeah, I drink way more than you think I have. And I'm going to have to try really hard to not make like a noise when I pick it up, because I think that is really defeating.
And to not spill it all over Junior Miller's desk.
No, that won't happen. I got luckily this little spout here that'll keep me from, if I do spill it, something bad happening.
It's like a giant sippy cup is what you've purchased.
Sure. Yeah. But if I have to go every time I lift it, that makes me sound like a little bitch. I don't want to do that. So I may turn my mic off when I take a sip.
Careful not to overexert in there, Justin.
Yeah, I don't want to develop a hernia from my water jug.
You know, you can use Kevin's little water bottle for when he finishes that one, and you might have to use the restroom during a segment. Just use the bottle.
Ugh, don't do that.
You ain't never used a bottle before?
Well,
You think you're better
in
than
a
us?
road trip situation. Yes, I do.
A bottle like that?
100% of
Oh,
peat
like a
in it.
Gatorade
100% of peat in one of those
Gatorade.
bottles.
How do you aim?
You're
How
not
are you
aiming. You're kind
not
of just
peeing
sticking.
all over your Camry.
Well, that's what Lloyd
I don't
Christmas
have a
did in Dumb and
Camry,
Dumber.
number one. I have an American car. And number two, all you got to do is just, as Busby said, just the tip.
Yeah, I know, but I still feel like you're gonna
You're one bad
It's better
bounce
than a
away
Coke
from
can.
you're gonna get some
sprinkler.
spray out there until you line it up perfectly.
Sure.
Unless you're like just an expert at doing it.
What a
I'm
horrible
not saying
thing to
I
be an
am.
expert at.
But I can pee in that without spillage.
And then your
You
friend,
can do it right now.
your friend on purpose hits a pothole as you're going 70.
Yeah, and then it hits the roof of the car. If you're a real pro, you'll get one of those Gatorade bottles with the twist tops where the holes are real small. That would
Like
be
the baby bottle one?
That would be expert level. Yeah. No, I have to use an actual Gatorade bottle.
Right.
And then I just kind of pop it on and do it hands free.
Yeah.
Just
And when it feels wet, I've gone too far. Almost done. That was always the most beaten part about having to do that, is I always felt like I had more, especially if I'm in an emergency situation, I have more to fill than that bottle.
also get the little dribblage on your leg there.
Yeah. No,
Th-
I've
3
never.
little drops.
I try not to go number one in those if I have to.
But a number two's okay.
Number two, yeah.
Do it with a Gatorade bottle.
That one I'll use a regular
family-sized one.
I'll use a regular little Ozarka bottle. Just keep popping a new one in when I need it.
Are we sure we're not having Burning Man there in the studio?
No,
That's
no.
Almost
Well-
like what y'all are talking about.
Well, let's get to Burning Man. We got a few minutes here, so I still don't really understand what Burning Man is.
Okay, I did have to Google what is Burning Man.
It's
because
kind
I've
of like
heard
just
of
a
it.
big art festival, kind of, but
Right.
you're just partying outside.
Is this
doing
Coachella
drugs.
for even bigger hippies?
Well, but there's like
A great
no
excuse
musical
to be
musical
coyote
artists.
in the desert.
Yeah, this almost seems like Woodstock with no music, because people are just out there tripping, doing all kinds of doing all kinds of mess.
Well, right now, Deddy, they are currently using their water bottles to conserve water and food. I think we found out this morning, right, that someone has died at Burning Man already. What exactly is going on, Monty?
So there's been some rainfall out at the Black Rock Desert, which is where Burning Man takes place, and it's basically trapped all of these people there because the road, and it's like one road to get in and out of there, is not passable, and the people that are actually at Burning Man can't even leave where they are. I didn't realize Burning Man was a bunch of RVs and trailers and people in trucks and stuff. Like, I thought it was seriously just barefoot hippies that walked there, partied their balls off, and then left. Now it seems a little more for the uppity, it seems like, that like to pretend, they like to LARP as hippies. And they're in like a big F-350 or something, which is kind of, I think, against the overall hippie way. But anyway, they're out there and they're stuck because they can't go anywhere. And
That is the definition of being stuck.
yeah, but the situation is getting dire because the mud that they're basically living in is making people sick because apparently the floor of the lake that's dried up is mixing with the mud and making people really sick, and like you can't walk barefooted.
Yeah, it does something to your skin.
Yeah, it basically gives you a chemical burn on the bottom of your feet. Some people think that Ebola is swimming around in this mud, but one of the biggest problems. No, I don't think it ever took lessons. The biggest problem that people are having is the porta potties that are out there are overflowed, and
no one.
They cannot get there's not enough Gatorade bottles because those people don't plan to hydrate enough, and they can't get sewage trucks out there to empty the porta potties.
Yeah,
and they don't think they'll be able to get these people out of Burning Man until Tuesday. And there may be more weather today. It may rain again.
When was the festival supposed to end? Well, I think it was today. So they're going to be trapped an extra 2 days. And there's only one way in and out of this place?
Yep.
Man.
And you just can't drive on it right now. You can't get out. So you may have seen some videos of some people that were able to escape. The weirdest one is Diplo, the DJ, and Chris Rock jumped in the back of some dude's truck. And there's Chris Rock looking like
he looks like Spike Jonze with the New York jacket on.
Yeah, but he looks real beaten. Yeah. Like he's on the way to a watermelon stand or something, like go sell him on the corner. Or, cantaloupe. Is that better?
Yeah.
But I don't know how he got out, but it's funny to see Diplo and Chris Rock together riding in the back of a truck to escape Burning Man. I didn't think Chris Rock would be at Burning Man.
Yeah, I wouldn't
of
have
all
guessed
places.
Well, Will Smith's not there, so it's safe.
That's where he's hiding from him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll never be at Burning Man.
Part of the restraining order says Will Smith can't go to Burning Man.
But yeah, I'm pretty fascinated with the situation now, just seeing all these people kind of put themselves in the situation, and now they can't get out, and they have nowhere to go. Number 2.
It's a real crap show.
Okay.
Did bad jokes kill the person
physically hit him? He used that joke earlier.
And it was even better on air.
He got 2 for
wasn't
flinching.
because you had to say crap instead of S.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you a rim shot for that one.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't give him anything.
No.
Well, let's see if we can pick up the remnants of our show and get going here. At 10:50, like I said, we're going to talk about scenes we wish we could watch for the first time. We'll do some WiP Around, some Sunday Brunch in the 11 o'clock hour. At 10:30, Lando rips the Rangers. At 9:50, we'll take a look at the NFC East and the NFC, see how the Cowboys stack up. But, Kevin,
yes,
is Colorado for real? Let's find out next.
Right now, Monty, it's finally back. College football began yesterday. Not a lot of great matchups, but the most hyped matchup was Colorado-TCU. And I'll be completely honest. I'm already tired of seeing promos of Deion Sanders riding a buffalo. But to Colorado's credit, man, that game was fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to make of him, or his team. People have been selling Deion pretty hard for the last couple of years because he has turned, a program around, and now that we have him in a Power 5 program that he completely overhauled after they won one game last year. He brings over his son to play quarterback. He brings over the top recruit in the nation from a couple of years ago and says, yeah, we're going to play him 100 snaps a game. He's going to go both ways. We just had no idea what to think of him. And I'm wondering if people are going to say, yeah, we kind of just misjudged TCU and Colorado going into this one by making Colorado such a heavy underdog. But I don't know what they're going to do the rest of the season. Who knows? Maybe when they play USC, they get beat by 30. But like you said, they're going to be at the top of everyone's mind moving forward because honestly, I mean, the persona that is Dion and, having a character to front a program, especially one that we would consider to be lower tier like Colorado, I mean, college football loves that. They don't really have a dude like that. Like the top coaches, for the most part, are pretty boring. I mean, Nick Saban eats oatmeal cream pies for breakfast. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Dabo will put his foot in his mouth every now and then, but overall, they just have good programs.
Well, and Dion, to your point, he's certainly marketable. And I don't have anything against. I like Dion, but Fox is definitely saying, all right, this is something we're going to market and package and we're going to distribute and put it in your face. Big Noon Saturday this week, Colorado TCU. Next week, it's the home opener for Deion Sanders.
Yep.
Also Big Noon Saturday, Nebraska is coming to Colorado. So I definitely think, even though college football doesn't really need a ratings booster, they have someone that they can market and, more power to them, I guess.
Yeah, when we were watching into that game yesterday, getting ready for the show, I was laughing because, I think I saw more sideline head coach shots of Dion than I have in the history of football. And also after the game, they go down to the sideline and interview him, and he, is saying, great win, proud of our guys, whatever. But he has 25 people around him. Security guards, dudes that work for Colorado, just everybody's there. And then they bring over Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter to interview. Dion walks off, and everyone that was in the shot is now gone. It's just Sanders and Hunter there.
Yeah.
And, you and I are trying to figure out, what does the D and the L mean on that jersey? What, did I miss something? But apparently that means dog and leader, which is captained by another name, I guess. But you want to be a little different, I suppose.
I mean, look, he's making a culture. He's making his own culture. Dog and leader is kind of lame. But, hey, for whatever you may think, and I think this was a weird game to try to guess who was going to win in the first place, because TCU, they were runner-up national champions last year, but they also lost over half of their offense from the previous season. So I think this was, and then you had no idea what Colorado was going to be because their entire roster is new. So you didn't really know what to expect in the first place, but the game in itself delivered, and you started to find out things. Shedeur Sanders looked really, really good. He looked calm and poised. And then you have Travis Hunter with something that it's not going to be sustainable. There's no way he can do 129 snaps each game.
I was kind of perplexed by that because why would he agree to that? As a dude who's trying to make the NFL.
Do you think Dion has an effect on him like that?
I mean, probably. I mean, clearly, if he got him to go to Jackson State or whatever, when he could have gone to LSU. I mean, he clearly likes Dion, but this is not baseball. This is not Shohei. He's in no way going to be a two-way player in the NFL, at least for any kind of length of time. So why he would do that all year, if he does plan on doing it all year, makes no sense. But it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Know how it helps him for someone trying to make it to the next level. I wanted to play some audio here, but I can't find the cord. You got the cord over there? Basically, did you see Dion post-game? Dion was...
his post-game was awesome.
Yeah, so he, this is where he shines the most, being able to be Dion, be the big personality that he is. But the thing that's got people upset was him talking to a reporter, which I never saw who he was talking to. I don't know if you saw that or not, Deddy.
Ed Werder.
It was Ed Werder?
Well, there was also a female reporter he was talking to as well.
I think this clip was a guy that he was talking to.
Well, it might have been Ed Werder then.
But he was talking post-game, and he singled out some reporter. Sounds like it's Ed Werder. And had some comments for him because I guess he read a negative piece from Ed Werder about Colorado, and this has fans and your average college goer happy, but a lot of media pundits upset.
All right. What's up, boss? You believe now? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe in that? Huh? Oh no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe? You don't believe. You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
So it has media people upset because they're saying, what are we supposed to be, the cheerleader for the team? And then you have, like I said, your average college football fan saying, we like you throwing at the media's head because they can dish it out but can't take it. I don't know exactly what piece he's referring to, but I do kind of agree that, you're not supposed to be sitting in there, as a cheerleader or with your pom-poms up. But if you're a guy that is a beat reporter and you start publishing things that, you say you don't think they're going to be very good and all that, he's probably going to throw at you for that. You have to be ready for it.
Yeah. I also like the term bull junk. I might start using that.
Yeah, that was very uncle not wanting to curse in front of his nephew type cursing.
Well, but the other thing I think is interesting, too, is, yeah, they didn't believe you because why should they? Okay, you turned a Jackson State program around. You've done things in the offseason to bring in new talent. Nobody had seen it yet. We didn't know what to expect. They're making assumptions based on numbers and just opinions. So maybe after 1 week, we don't start asking people if they believe and calling them out for what they wrote about not seeing the team yet. Why don't we see what happens next week and the week after that? And then you can start to build a resume for your team. But I don't know. I that being said, I still kind of like the back and forth. I think it's good. It's good for attention, really.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the building a resume type deal is Deion's forte, though. Like, this is all just part of his persona and how he conducts himself in general. And so why wouldn't he continue to feed into that? Because the other thing, too, is this builds more confidence in the players in him, right? He's still, it's not like he's saying, well, it was a good win. No, he's going out there and acting just like he did all season, and it just helps the players buy in.
He clearly gets, those players to buy into what, even saying what he's selling seems a bit disingenuous, but they buy into the Deion character and the hype, and I'll say I will be able to respect it more if the first time they lose, someone, clearly someone's going to try to get a quote out of him. I want to see what he says then. Look, if he, really cowers and hides his tail and freaks out and yells and gets all mad because people are now questioning a loss, then I'll kind of, wonder, okay, now are you the one dishing it out and not being able to take it? But, I guess it just depends on what people's expectations are, because they're not going to go 12-0 and win the Pac-12, but they're also not going to go winless. And even with TCU being perhaps a shell of what they were last year, for him, week one, to go into Fort Worth and win, despite being, and again, we don't know if this is a good line or not, a multi-touchdown underdog, is a notable thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think we're going to find out in a month how real they are, because the end of this month, they play at Oregon, and then USC comes to Colorado. So you're going to find out right then, whatever, if is Shadur Sanders for real? Are they going to have a running game at some point?
And also, we talked about their the TCU offense not being good. They did score 40-plus points on Colorado.
And
so
Chandler Morris completed passes to 11 different receivers, and they had a good running game. Definitely, I don't think TCU is that bad or going to be significantly worse, but we're definitely going to find out some things about Colorado in this month.
If Chandler Morris doesn't make two terrible decisions in the red zone yesterday,
it's a different game.
I think TCU wins that by probably 10 points.
Yeah. No, yeah, there was definitely, I forget who it was. Was it Sonny Dykes even said that in his post-game press conference that those couple of interceptions were brutal.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Travis Hunter interception was phenomenal because of the athletic play he made to do it, but it was still a terrible decision from Morris.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, especially, where they were in the red zone. Terrible decision. But, yeah, I mean, on a day like we said where, for the most part, all the matchups are pretty spare.
Yeah.
I mean, tonight will be cool with LSU and Florida State.
The only ranked matchup of the week.
I mean, this is where your Alabamas and your Ohio States, and I guess at least Ohio State played a conference game, but a terrible team. But Michigan played East Carolina. It's just a bad week. Week 2, week 3 is where things get going.
I will say it was fun because I went out for a little bit to watch some of the games, and it seemed like every Texas school was on TV, and I thought that was pretty neat. All
right. Well, we'll get back into some college stuff during the Sunday brunch segment at 11:15. But coming up next here on Work in Progress, how will the Cowboys fare in the NFC East? We'll talk about that next. Before we start kicking around the NFC East and the NFC, we do have some breaking news, and I'm excited. We don't normally ever get anything interesting here.
News.
Not that I think this is the biggest news of all time, but it is a bit of Cowboys news as they have locked in Terrence Steele long term on a 5-year, $86 million deal, 50 of that guaranteed. And when I see this stuff kind of thrown around, I just think back to Jerry a few weeks ago talking about Zach Martin, just talking, pulling his pockets out, showing us the white, we're strapped. We don't really have any money. You know what I mean? Like, we're having to put extra money in our piggy bank for Micah and CD, and, at the time was Trayvon. Like, I don't know what you want us to do. And now they're locking in their right tackle for 50 guaranteed with almost 90 total. And
it's over 17.3 per season on the yearly average, and like you said, 50 million guaranteed over 5 years, so 10 million guaranteed per season.
Can you see where that puts him among right tackles? I'm kind of curious where that ranks, because I imagine 17 a year is pretty high. I bet that puts him top 5 among right tackles.
And you still have to pay other people.
Yeah.
But
that puts him along with people like Mike McGlinchey, Braden Smith, Taylor Moton, but that puts him just outside the top 5. Your number 1 is Lane Johnson, and then Jawan Taylor, and a couple others before you get down to that 17.5 range.
Well, I will say Terrence Steele, I mean, he was undrafted, but he has turned into a solid player.
Mm-hmm.
His presence was definitely missed when he got hurt. I don't know. You definitely need to lock in an offensive line piece that you trust. I am a little... Are you confused at all by the timeline of this? Or do you think they had to do it before the season started?
Yeah, I guess I don't remember. Was he on his last year?
He is in the last year of his rookie deal, yes.
Yeah, so... I mean, I guess the thinking is, and maybe this is a good sign, they really think he's a great player. They think he's going to do nothing but improve his value this offseason or during the season. And then when the deal expires, now you may have to vault him into top 5 average annual value for right tackle. So I guess you're hoping you're getting a bit of a discount. But I if you had told me what I would offer Terrence Steele right now, 86.8, I think would be at the absolute high end of what I said I'd be okay with. I mean, we were joking about it, but you do have 2 major contracts coming down with Micah and CD. I mean, both of those guys, Micah especially, are going to reset the market for their position. So
yeah, if Hawkinson resets the tight end market, then yes, Micah is going to reset his linebacker market.
Micah is absolutely going to he's going to shatter any old defensive record. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, that's what these dudes are always trying to do, is reset the market and say, hey, in 2 or 3 years from now, when I'm the 6th highest paid receiver, you're going to be getting a deal. But yeah, I mean, it just seems odd whenever you are playing such hardball with Pollard, which, I mean, we kind of get. He's a running back. We don't want them to go crazy. But you're playing hardball with Zach Martin. We're already wondering if they're worried about Dak's number and are trading for third stringers to supplant his money.
Yeah.
You just kind of wonder what the overall plan is.
And this is Terrence Steele coming off an ACL injury, too.
Yeah.
It's not like he's in the prime of his... I mean, he's still young, but an ACL injury can leave you, as we've seen with running backs and other players, it can leave you just not the same kind of guy that you were before. Not that he was even, maybe you could argue, a $17.5 million a year kind of guy before the injury. I mean, are you saying he's one of the top 5 or close to it right tackles in the NFL? Because I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't think so, but, I always feel weird in these conversations because, I felt this way when we had the Zach Martin thing. Like, people were slamming the table saying, dude, Zach Martin's definitely better than Chris Lindstrom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? How many Chris Lindstrom snaps have you watched? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't watch Jawan Taylor. Like, I don't know, but I wouldn't think so, just because I do think he's a good tackle, but I never thought in my mind, I think this dude's probably one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a weird one. The Terrence Steele one it's almost like a different approach to another offensive lineman who you don't think is better than Zach Martin. I know there's different positions, but why did you hardball with Zach Martin, but then you give all this money to Terrence Steele a few weeks later?
I mean, I think their reasoning would be probably age, just because Steele is younger. But yeah, I mean, it shows inconsistency.
Yeah.
And not having...
That's the most consistent thing about the Cowboys.
An overall plan or a 5-year plan as a team. It just, to me, it kind of seems like they're dealing with these problems as they come up and don't have a big storyboard that they're adhering to.
Is it a Jerry effect where he's an undrafted free agent out of Texas Tech, but we brought him up and he's one of our boys, so we're going to...
very well could be.
Because that's what it feels like looking at it, like you mentioned, the inconsistency. I mean, that would be a classic Jerry Jones move if he was to all of a sudden go, no, this is one of the guys that we brought up through our program, and so we're going to give him the money.
So Schefter just tweeted out what the Cowboys have spent this offseason.
Okay.
Trayvon Diggs, 5 years, $97 million. Terrence Steele, 5 years, $86.8 million. Zach Martin, 2 years, $36.85. And Tony Pollard got the $10.09 franchise tag. That's money that they've spent this offseason.
And like we said, those are not even going to be their top 2 contracts in the next couple of years. So they got a lot of money going out the door.
Yeah.
And
let's see how many wins it buys.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's crazy to me is they're having to spend all of this money to retain the roster that made us mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not spending $86 million or $97.5 million to go improve your roster. You're just trying to keep the dudes here that have disappointed you. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out they did make moves that we thought were good to improve their roster.
Definitely.
Like trading for Brandon Cooks, trading for Stephon Gilmore. But they're just... You just stop telling us that you can't spend money and then go out and pay a guy as a top 6 right tackle in the NFL. I know that they are really happy. I saw Mike McCarthy talk about Terrence Steele the other day and how excited he was and how good he looks in practice and all that. But, yeah, I mean, we won't know until we see it. And I do like having a lockdown offensive line.
No doubt.
But I don't know that I would say that the Cowboys are there yet, just with Tyron being an uncertainty. I mean, no matter how great he still is, you feel like that dude's going to give you 10 games at most. Like, that's just where he is. He joined the
look,
NFL at 19.
I was going to say, I mean, his time is winding down. You feel very confident in Tyler Smith. I think he proved, and when his rookie deal is over, you're going to pay him too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Baldy said, Terrence Steele is coming off an ACL, so you're giving them the 5-year extension, but in actuality, you don't actually know what you might end up getting out of him this season. Is a backup lineman going to have to take snaps in his place at some point this season?
All the
reports have been very positive about him so far.
Sure.
In camp, as far as how he's played, and they say he looks. This has been every report I've seen about him so far, is that he looks like he is healthy and ready to go.
But again, no preseason snaps, right? Because none of the starters go. So what does he actually look like at game speed?
It's curious to extend 2 of your offensive linemen, but then also worry about the depth of the offensive line. It's curious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking forward to the next year. So we got 2024. Currently, your cap space before this deal comes down for 2024, you're looking at $3.8 million in cap space so far before the deal comes down for next year. And you're worried about having to pay Micah and having to pay maybe Pollard again. Who knows?
And then you got Dak coming up.
But you can restructure contracts and stuff in the NFL.
That's the thing. It's all funny money that they can move around, restructure.
But the more of these deals you do, the more restructuring you also have to do. And then what happens to a guy that says, I don't want to restructure?
And that's something that's kind of marred them in the past, was constantly kicking the can down the road and loading up the credit card. It eventually does bite you, because you're like, hey, look, just take a little less this year. We want to be okay. And then when everyone's bill comes due, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, let's now you take a little bit less, and you just keep putting yourself in this cycle of misery because you can't figure out your cap situation. But I mean, as long as they keep looking in the couch cushions and finding money, and this doesn't cost them CD, and it doesn't cost them Micah, the dudes that we want to be here for a long time and we really love, then pay Terrence Steele whatever. Just don't tell me whenever Micah's wanting his deal and all of a sudden you're big badass hardball team again.
Yeah,
that we just don't have money.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw Terrence Steele at you.
What did Deion say? It's bull junk.
It is bull junk.
Final thing, real quick, Monty. It's 10:10. How's your water?
We're almost at the end of it here.
Okay,
sure.
Really struggling over there.
The Terrence Steele news just got them all too excited to drink.
All right, Baldy, what's on the news?
Testicles.
Monty has stepped out to refill his water bottle.
It's all that water, man.
That's right. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Jay, I want you to have the dump button ready, because I am going to cuss at the Rangers. But right now, it's time for news.
Got a little bit of breaking news according to Syracuse Hoops Twitter feed. CJ Fair is now going to play for the Mavs Summer League team.
News team, assemble!
All right, here with your news, it's Baldy.
Thank you, Billy D. Williams.
You're welcome.
We begin, of course, with the news of the weekend that the mayor of Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett, passed away at the age of 76 very suddenly. Yes, he passed away peacefully on the night of September 1st, surrounded by his family, friends, music, and dogs.
What does it mean he was surrounded by his music?
They physically gave his music shape and wrapped him in it.
Okay, it's just an interesting wording choice.
And what a lovely coincidence that even though he passed away suddenly, he was surrounded by his family and friends and all this. That's curious timing.
Well, it is suddenly to us, but apparently he did have to reschedule concerts in May.
1 second, Baldy. Can we get a water bottle update from Monty?
Oh, yes.
I still have one.
Okay. Back to
now,
you,
is that your question?
Is it full of water?
There's some water in there.
Okay.
Yay!
Buffett acknowledged in social media posts that he had been hospitalized but provided no specifics. That was back in May. And then...
is he ever going to make those up, you think?
Probably not, but with AI, who knows? Would you go watch a hologram Jimmy Buffett concert?
I wouldn't go watch a real Jimmy Buffett concert. So
you can't now, obviously.
I mean, I guess now I would watch a real one because that'd be wild, but
What if
No,
it was?
I wasn't a parrot head.
Weekend at Jimmy Buffett's.
I was gonna say, what if it was Tupac and Jimmy Buffett's hologram?
What a mashup!
Yes.
But they're doing each other's songs.
Yeah, they're songs.
I'd
not
love to
each
hear
other.
Tupac
Like
do
Jimmy
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
I want to hear Jimmy Buffett do Hail Mary.
All eyes on me.
Yeah.
All the flags at Margaritaville are being flown at half-mast in mourning of their
Hold on, I'm sorry. Wait,
beloved owner.
did that just fly over my head? Is there really a place called Margaritaville?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a chain
Dude,
of
there's
resort
there's not
casinos.
even.
Oh, I
way
thought
more
you meant
than
like
one.
a town.
No.
Okay.
It's an establishment.
That's why I said
I'll
all
have
of
more
them are
stupid
Margaritaville.
questions later.
It's like Dolly World.
Got it.
So
Or Kid Rock's big ass honky tonk bar,
Toby Keith's.
Where's that at?
Tennessee.
of course.
thought he was going a different direction when I heard the word honky come out of his mouth. I wasn't sure where he was going with that.
Yes, just throwing out slurs on Sunday morning.
So pour one out for Jimmy Buffett, who is now enjoying his own cheeseburger in paradise.
5 o'clock somewhere, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right, Kevin?
That's right. Jimmy Buffett.
Paul in what?
All right, let's pay off the testicle as we go to
Yay! Got bits.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, Harbaugh's probably there. He's got nothing going on.
Yes, but he was probably at this nightclub where a 19-year-old from Detroit reportedly punched an employee of the nightclub in the face before or after he was denied entrance, and also reportedly grabbed his testicles and bit them.
His own?
The employees.
Oh.
Which I'm not sure which would have been funnier.
He grabbed
actually.
the employees but bit his own.
What?
I mean, if you want to talk about, keeping your enemy guessing,
Never let him know your next move.
never. Like, I don't think I'd be a good UFC fighter, but I promise you I'd get Chuck Liddell's off my ass by biting his balls.
Like that.
When police placed the man in handcuffs, he reportedly resisted and caused injuries to a police officer's fingers.
That's
So
an
we
ass,
have
man.
finger injuries and testicle injuries, and the man was charged with 1 count of resist/assaulting a police officer causing injury, 2 counts of resist/assaulting a police officer, 1 count of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of simple assault. I'm not sure which one the testicle bite falls under.
So if you
I would
bite,
assume aggravated.
At one point, but at what point when...
is it like a fruit gusher, you think?
Ooh. Okay, if you're the one being assaulted...
Didn't need that image.
If you're the one being assaulted in this manner, and this guy already has your boys in his hand, how do you not prevent him from taking a bite?
What are you going to do? Try and jump away from him? Like, if he's got a good vice grip on him,
Once
you can't back up, really.
Once he's got him in his grasp, you're at his mercy at that point.
I don't know why I held the cupping motion for so long.
Well, just so we know what you're talking about. I had to do a little CGI in my brain.
Is that
put a
not-
couple of balls in your hand, but I got what you were going.
Is that not the international sign for hand
that's the
sign
nice
for?
cupping balls.
Like you're holding a baby bird.
Like whenever I go to the doctor's office and he does that,
rooster?
I drop trowel and cough.
Okay, thank you, Monty.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's I would be mad, I guess, if they turned me away from a nightclub. I don't know if I'd be that mad.
I don't know what could make you that mad anyway.
He was 19, too, so if it's a 21 and over club, he couldn't get in anyway.
If TBS stopped showing King of Queen reruns,
That would do it for you.
I might drive to Atlanta,
go over
Bingo.
to the TBS executives.
get me a knife
Office.
and fork, put a napkin in my collar, and
Bring
take
some
a couple of
ranch.
rips. Yeah.
Light a candle.
No, I want to taste the flavor of the meat. I don't want to ruin it with any kind of condiment.
Just a little Pittsburgh blue sear on it as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ruin it with ranch.
Definitely mark that last one for some reason.
Also, it'd be buffalo sauce, let's be real.
Yeah.
Over, down, under. Engineers at RMIT University, which I can only assume means reverse MIT, since in Australia, must be upside down,
God, the jokes will not stop today.
say they have developed a
going.
way to make concrete nearly 30% stronger by incorporating processed coffee grounds into the material. The researchers have converted waste coffee grounds into biochar, which basically means they just cooked the grounds even more until it was basically charcoal, and they replaced a portion of the sand required to make concrete with that.
And so our roads are going to be better?
It does say 30% stronger, but there have not been enough tests to really confirm that yet.
What? Okay. Since you're going to make jokes all day, and I'm just going to be the one that asks dumb questions all day.
Yeah, hit us.
How do you test the strength of concrete? Like, do they just make it and then hit it with sledgehammers until it breaks?
Or you put more and more weight on it
Until it
cracks, I guess.
How did they arrive at 30% more?
Well,
I'm confused.
I'm gonna take a big risk here and perhaps jump into a bear trap. It may happen. But from what I understand, the way they test the limit of this concrete is by putting one of your mom on, and then two of your moms on, and then three of your moms on. Now, please confirm whether or not your mom is alive.
It's the sliding mom scale. What a show.
I did all that without knowing whether or not.
Monty, that might be the worst attempt at a joke I think I've ever heard you make.
Yes, my mom is alive and well.
Okay, good. Good.
That's what I was really waiting for, was the
She's just not in his life.
answer from Kevin. Let's go to a story about happiness, maybe even forced happiness.
Let's move on to plane crashes.
That's what Rugi's
There you
brother
go.
did.
There's some happiness. Plane crashes. No. Instead, a biotech company has implanted neurons into the brains of 12 people with Parkinson's and has reduced symptoms for them by having those neurons increase dopamine.
Okay.
As reduced dopamine is apparently one of the main factors of Parkinson's and one of the symptoms, or one of the factors that causes most of the symptoms.
Just answer me this. Is Michael J. Fox involved in this?
Not that I've seen, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Okay, so...
Name another famous Parkinson's haver.
Famous Parkinson's haver.
I don't think I can, Monty.
Didn't Muhammad Ali have Parkinson's?
Yes, he did.
Well, then Muhammad Ali.
Well, he's dead.
Apparently Ozzy Osbourne, according to Google.
Really?
Neil Diamond,
Neil Diamond?
allegedly.
Well, okay, so more dopamine is good, right?
Yes, because dopamine is the
Dope,
happy
bro.
drug your brain makes to make you feel better.
All right.
So maybe this is the start of the end of the world, where we're put in little pods and the government floods our brains with dopamine and we sit happy
Okay.
for our
Technology
overlords.
and stuff.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. No complaints on this side
Oh,
either.
was that enough? Oh, okay.
We're going to look like the dudes from Wall-E.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to be in little pods like the Matrix.
I want them to cut my head off like Ted Williams and just reattach it when we're in Wall-E times.
Yeah, I
What if
definitely
it
want the
gets put on
future.
backwards?
I
Which
want
head?
the future to be some blend of Idiocracy and Wall-E.
As long as Carl's Jr. is
As
involved.
long as Carl's...
Oh, dude, I would.
and I
sell
can go
out
to
so hard.
Starbucks whenever I want.
All right, that's all you want is that.
Yeah.
You go
A
there every
latte.
day checking to see if they've switched yet. Still no? Okay. Got to pull your pants back up.
I don't have anything to follow with that. That's the news.
Yay.
Thank you, Baldy.
All right, it's 10:29 here on the ticket. This is work in progress. Let's talk a little Rangers. Jay, have the dump button ready. Next.
Go away, Baton.
Again because of AIDS and stuff. How we all feeling tonight?
What
This
a
from
tribute.
South Park?
Yes.
Paradise.
Yeah, they got Jimmy Buffett to sing for Cartman when he got AIDS.
And it was called AIDS Burger in Paradise.
Yes.
AIDS burger and
Thank you, Jay.
nice.
Yeah.
Little boy in South Park.
Okay. Coming up in our next segment, we'll play or we'll talk about our favorite movies or TV scenes that we wish we could see for the first time. Just kick around some cinema. Maybe the small screen.
Yeah,
That's what we do. Maybe bring in EA and Trey. Who knows?
totally different.
Gonna be a kick-ass segment, but right here, we got to talk about the lowly little Rangers because I'm worried that we're on or that we are viewing an epic collapse take place before our very eyes.
Yeah.
And the bad thing about a baseball collapse, as opposed to like an NFL one, is it's a nightly stab in the face. At least football, you get your ass kicked on Sunday. You have to dwell about it, but you don't have to keep watching it over and over and over. But now, I don't think I can ever feel like the Rangers are going to go into extra innings and win a game again.
Yesterday was tough because...
Were you there?
Yes. Yesterday was tough because you get to that extra... They're down by 3 in the 10th inning, which this is a whole other conversation, but I'm so tired of the extra inning zombie runner. We've already cut 30 minutes off of the game by having the pitch clock. Can we get rid of the zombie runner?
Yeah.
But anyway, they're down 3, and there's 2 outs. Heim is down to the last strike, and I thought, dude, this is it. Like, this season is not going to get any better. And then the Rangers did the thing that they always do to me. Heim got an opposite field hit. And then Robbie Grossman comes up, and he hits one off the pitcher's glove, and it becomes a single. And that's one of those weird baseball things that happens that spark rallies. And I got my hopes up again. And then the game ended. And as much as we could sit here and talk about how they didn't go out and get enough bullpen help, which they didn't. I think they made good moves. They didn't make enough moves. The real crux of this team is going to end up being the offense and what you didn't do to improve the offense of a team that was under 500 last year. And when we go back and we look at this season, the most significant moment in my mind that happened this season is Josh Young getting hurt. Josh Young got hurt August 6th, that weird play where he caught the ball.
Yeah.
On August 6th when he got hurt, and I'll count that game towards the record, the Rangers were 6-0 in the month, on their way to 8 consecutive wins. So they were 6-0 with Young in the lineup. After he went out, the rest of the month, they went 9-12. Not only did they go 9-12, they blew a 5-game lead. Seattle gained 6 games in the standings in that 1 month, and you were struggling to try and find consistent offensive production. They went from hitting at the beginning of the month, Monty, they were hitting 265 as a team, and they had driven in 82 runs in the first 13 games of that month in August. They ended up the last half of the month hitting 237 and drove in half as many runs. And the Josh Young injury is crucial to that. And I don't really understand why, at the deadline, you didn't look at your roster and say, yes, we need pitching, but I think we also need a right-handed outfielder that can be a veteran presence in the lineup.
Yeah, well, I think at that time they were still saying we're riding really high on these dudes that overperformed in the first half. I don't know. I mean, maybe saying overperforming is a bit harsh, but dudes that are playing way better than they ever had before, Heim, Tavares, Duran. I think they said, Seager was playing at an MVP level. Simeon seemed to have figured it out after last year. I think their overall approach was last year was the anomaly. And now that they have their middle infielders that are finally hitting, which they both are worlds better this year than they were last year, and we're getting our supplemental pieces to hit, anchored by, Lowe, who's a solid 300 hitter, Adolis, who's going to drive in a bunch of runs. We're pretty good offense. Now, I'm with you. I would have loved it if they got someone that could be better than a Robbie Grossman, Travis Jankowski platoon. But at the trade deadline, I don't think they thought their offense was a problem at all because it really wasn't. Now, was that a lack of foresight?
I think
Obviously
so.
Now. Yeah, because that's their biggest problem. I mean, we can point to the bullpen all day and say you guys are struggling, because they are, but they're also trying to hold 2-1 leads.
Right, which they're not good at, and they weren't good at last season either. But I think my real concern is, okay, you looked at your offense that in 2022 won 68 games, and you said, yeah, we're good. We don't need to add any. Think about the only true acquisition that they made for the offense in the offseason was Travis Jankowski. How do you look at your outfield situation and say, we can contend, but only have one legitimate outfielder in Adolis Garcia? I don't see how you don't address that at some point. They were they did a right thing in going after pitching, but they should have gone after another bat. And I think it's because they didn't expect to contend this year. They were aiming for 2024.
I think one thing you have to consider also with the Josh Young injury is the fact that the Jonah Heim injury happened right before it. And so when Young went out, now you had two bats out of the middle of your lineup. And since Young came back, he's been very ineffective.
But here's the thing, Deddy. The offense was so strong that when Heim goes down, you're already getting more from Heim than you needed, because every other team just about has a spot in the lineup, and usually it's a catcher that doesn't perform up to those type of numbers. So, yeah, it does compound it when you have those two guys going out.
Yeah, I mean, 2 all-star bats out of the middle of your lineup.
For sure.
So who would have been your pick then? You said you want to right.
Well, look, I'm not saying that if you go get Randall Grichuk, you're going to win a World Series, but Grichuk would have given you, and that's just an example, I'm not saying we should have gotten him, but that would have given you a veteran outfielder who is a right-handed bat who has some pop. You know what I mean? Like, and not just that.
I do agree he would have been a better option than Grossman.
If you look at the Rangers roster to begin with, there is literally one guy on the team that's ever been into a deep pennant run, and it's Corey Seager, August Player of the Month, by the way. Nobody else on the team has really ever sniffed the playoffs, and I think the fatigue and the pressure is showing.
How much fatigue is there? Because there's only one player that's played every game so far for the Rangers, and it's Marcus Semien. So I would kind of get him for sure.
Well, Nathaniel Lowe plays every day. Garcia plays every day.
Yeah, for the most part.
Heim pretty much played every game before he got hurt.
Yeah, because I remember we were calling for him to get days off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, are you saying the mental grind is getting to them or the physical grind?
I think it's the mental side probably more, but the physical side too. I think it's both.
Look at there's some reasoning behind this I can see, because if you look at Tavares and Duran, for example, and how their second halves, especially Tavares, have been pretty poor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these are two young players. This is the first time that Tavares has had this much success, but has played this long through a regular season at the major league level. Right. And Duran's a rookie. I mean, it's definitely the first time for him, and I think you see some of that going on, at least mentally, because pitchers have adjusted to them, and especially Tavares really hasn't adjusted back.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, to your point, Kevin, about could they have made some kind of move at the deadline to add an outfield bat? I mean, I wonder what was out there, and we still don't really know what Chris Young thinks about the farm system, because I think clearly they could have mortgaged more of their farm system to go get another bullpen arm or another starter, but he didn't do that. Right. So I wonder what deals were available, and were they willing to give up Sebastian Walcott for a left fielder? I imagine Chris Young said, our offense is good enough, I don't want to have to give up someone like that.
And is this like a 2-year deal where it's nobody was expecting the Rangers to be anywhere near this good?
See, that's why I think they were legitimately behind closed doors when the season started, expecting to contend next season. And then there's something else to that too, is that next season, when the postseason starts, Marcus Semien's going to be 34.
I mean, some would say that's the beginning of the best part of your life.
I guess so. It's definitely the downward spiral for me. But
all the reports are that the Rangers were pretty in on Jordan Hicks, the Cardinals reliever that went to the Blue Jays. But the Blue Jays, because their closer went on the IL right before the trade deadline, came in hard and heavy late to pull off that deal.
Again, I definitely would have liked to see another bullpen arm, but I don't really think that the bullpen is the total. It is a complete team failure at the moment.
Let's not undersell Chapman blows right now.
Sure. Yeah.
Who in the bullpen doesn't?
Yesterday Chapman, I thought it was also a weird move to bring Chapman back out for the next inning, because he had he came in with 1 out to relieve Will Smith. He got 2 really quick outs. Mm-hmm. He came out for the next inning, and he was wild.
I always feel like he's going to walk somebody.
I do too.
Or give up a bomb.
Right. And then on the flip side of that, just to bring it back to the offense, in the 8th inning of that game, it went Lowe walked, Garcia walked, Garver walked. So you have 3 on. You didn't have to do anything to get them on base. There's nobody out. Grossman hits a sac fly. Great. That's a productive out. He brings the run home. But then Duran had a non-competitive at bat where he swung at a bad pitch and popped out. And then J.P. Martinez, who's batting for Sam Huff from earlier in the game.
Yeah.
He went 3-0 and swung at 3 consecutive pitches.
Yeah, it's to me the thing that's bothered me over the last couple of weeks is those few times they've had bases loaded.
They can't get
with
a
no
hit.
outs, and they get 1 run or nothing.
Right.
Isn't this a spot, too, where you would really like Bruce Bochy to, not that he hasn't done anything, but you would want somebody of his caliber to be able to calm his team down? Because it does seem like, especially late in games, their mentality is gone.
But I think at this point, what do you say that you haven't already said? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do at this point? I think...
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you would think that he would know the answers to this based on how long he's done this and his pedigree.
It's definitely because it's baseball. You always think, all right, if we get one bloop single here or there's a wild pitch here that we have a chance to win. But now everybody, fans, myself included, are so beaten down by what's going on. I don't think any of that's going to happen. You know, like I don't know. I went from thinking that it wasn't a fluke that the Rangers were so good to now thinking that there was many things that they could have done differently.
They're also trying everything they can think of at the bullpen, it looks like to me, especially over the last week.
You say that, but they've
given so many guys opportunity to try and close out games.
Okay, but you have 4 lefties in your bullpen, and as part of your September call-ups, you bring up another lefty when you have other righties on your 40-man you could have brought up. I don't know. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and the more I check every day, their playoff odds get lower and lower and lower. They were at like
they do.
92% to win their division a few weeks ago. Now they're only 65% to even make the AL playoffs.
Right. Just crazy.
And things are just trending downwards. Like, at least I'd feel a little better if I felt like they were on the up curve.
But it doesn't feel that way.
No, yeah, it still feels like arrow pointing down, and they have to figure it out. And now, you get to figure that out against Houston. That'd be great.
Which, look, it'll still be obviously a huge series, but more importantly, if they get knocked out, if they drop that series, the season is over. It's 100% over because...
I mean, you think they get swept or if they just lose?
I think even if you lose 2 or 3, I think your season's over.
I mean, that wouldn't preclude you from making a wild card spot.
Yeah, but here come the Blue Jays, which you also have to face.
Yeah, but I call them the Blow Jays, so then they're not as scary.
That's true. That's a good deflection.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them nearly as much when you call them that. Yeah, I will be a little worried, though, if I hear more about Max Scherzer's forearm getting tight.
Yeah, another concern.
Hey, Yay. How you doing? Yeah, I don't want to hear any more about a forearm being tight, because if we lose another guy, another former Met to Tommy John, that'll make me really upset. And, yeah, I mean, even lost and all that, too, just from the pitching perspective, was losing Eovaldi.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they talk about, like, the impetus of staff going downhill when everyone has to be shifted up one.
Right.
Losing Eovaldi was killer.
It was.
All right, it's 10:50 here on The Ticket. Coming up next, let's have some fun with TV and movies.
So last week, I knew that AMC was doing $4 movie tickets, and so I thought, all right, I'm just going to go see what's playing. And I looked up. Turns out Jurassic Park has been out for 30 years, and it was a $4 ticket to watch it in 3D. And I thought, that's one of my favorite movies. I'm going to go see it in the big screen. And I took
3D, huh?
Yeah, it was 3D. It was pretty cool.
So you can see that dude that tried to hide in the crapper right there?
Yep. And then he gets bit in half. So I decided to take my niece because she told me that she had never seen it before. So I took her to see the movie, and she loved it. Like, she was jumping at certain scenes, and when the movie was over, she was like, that was awesome. I love that movie. And that got me thinking about other movies or TV shows, or even just scenes from movies or TV shows that you wish you could go back and watch for the very first time once again.
Yeah.
So I definitely would like to see Jurassic Park for the first time. But I'll start with one, too.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies is The Departed. And have you seen that movie?
Love that movie.
Okay. The ending of that movie, the elevator scene, when it happened, I was so invested in this movie at that
Spoilers,
time.
whoa.
It's been out for
You just
20
said the
years.
elevator.
I didn't say anything else. But the way that ended, I had a reaction of like, there's no way I just saw that. And then it got even crazier. I was like, I was still, even when the movie ending, I was like, I don't, how?
When
like
the rat's walking across
yeah,
the
you're like,
ledge.
Man. So that's one of my favorite movies. And that scene, the elevator scene, I was totally shocked by.
Yeah, it's a good one. I forgot about that one. I don't think I saw that in theaters either, but yeah, that is a good one. So I don't know if this falls into the same category, but there are certain movies that I wish I didn't know what happened in them just through like cultural osmosis.
Right.
Like, I think the best example is anyone who is seeing Star Wars now for the first time knows the big spoiler. Everybody. Right. It's just impossible to not know about Darth and Luke. And I imagine that was a pretty badass thing to see.
Yes.
For the first time. Like, oh my God.
My dad told me when he saw it in the theaters that, like, nobody knew, because there's no internet, nobody knew. Like, even I think some of the cast didn't know. But, yeah, that would have been
I think James Earl Jones still doesn't know. But I think that'd be really sweet. I mean, I envy the person that has no idea about Star Wars and watches it and gets legit bamboozled by that.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
And I think there's another one, too. I've been trying to think of other, like, big, giant spoilers in movies that have just been impossible to avoid. I think the other one is the one in The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Like, now everyone knows that, you know, he's dead. And I just want to watch one good M. Night Shyamalan movie where the twist is actually really cool.
The twist is
but
that the
I'll
movie's
never get
good.
that one. Now I get to watch a movie and go, oh,
I'm
he's
with you
talking
on
to
that.
plants. Okay.
Why are the bees dying?
Why is The Happening taking a shot?
Because that movie's horrible.
Sucks.
I do have an M. Night Shyamalan, the one I want to bring up.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
Yes,
that's exactly
that
what
one.
I was going to say.
Lady in the Water.
The Sixth Sense was ruined for me because friends told me about it before I saw it.
Exactly.
And so I wish I would have seen it with naked eyes.
Yeah.
You know? But
Hard to do since you wear glasses.
Well, back then I didn't. But
Have you ever had friends spoil a show for you?
Yes. It's the worst.
Yeah. I had a buddy when I was going through Dexter for the first time.
Okay.
Which I feel like that show's been around long enough that I can say the big spoiler. So if you don't want to hear it, you can turn your radio down for a second. But I was going through that, and in season 4, I guess, his girlfriend, who's like a big part of the show, kind of a drag for him, to be honest.
Like in real life? Or
No. She wasn't reading to kids.
Oh, okay.
She was a drag on his life and wouldn't let him murder people incessantly.
Right.
But
So she was messing with his flow, basically, is what you were saying.
yeah, and she was making him like cook risotto when he wanted to go be murdering a pedo, and he's having to go pick up pasta noodles. And my buddy and I was in season 2, and so I'm mid her just being a total gash. And my buddy's like, "Oh, you're watching Dexter right now?" And I go, "Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's a pretty good show." You see Ruth die yet? No. No. When is
That's
that?
a record scratch.
Like, why would you ask me that?
Yeah.
I mean, if
Just
you
so casual
are
about it,
inquisitive about where I am, just be like, "Oh, you know what's going on with him and Ruth?" Just say that, because then I can tell you, like, "Oh, yeah, you know, she's still being Ruth," or I can tell you that she got murdered.
Yeah.
But don't just say, "Oh,
Don't
yeah,
blurt it out.
she dead yet?" Oh yeah, she does.
I think sometimes we do that because we want people to be in on the joke with us so that we all know.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it. Like, I'm kind of guilty myself of, like, if a friend of mine or whatever is watching a show and they're getting into it, I'm left with, like, have you gotten here yet? Like, because I want to be able to have that conversation.
Yeah, I'm a really bad person about watching a movie or show with someone when I've already seen it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be the dude that's like, bro,
Yes.
really watch this scene.
You're staring at
I
it.
do that
I'm
too.
like, hold your eyes open really big. Like, really watch this
You're
scene,
watching
dude.
them to get their reaction to your favorite
Oh,
scene.
and
Yes,
if I see
absolutely.
if I see them on their phone when something's coming up that I'm really into, I'll snatch that crap, toss it in the pool, dude. I'm like, you need to watch.
Yes, I completely agree with
The
you.
biggest offender of that I've heard, this was like a secondhand one, was on this station.
Okay.
There was a show where they brought on someone's wife to talk about the show, The Newsroom.
Oh, okay.
With,
the Jeff Daniels?
No,
Oh,
sorry,
this is
the morning
I
show.
wish we
the
knew.
morning show.
The morning show. Sorry.
That's the Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell thing.
Yes. So they have her on to talk about it, and she, I guess, one of the guys was like, I heard season 2 is a crazy season. I haven't seen it yet. And she goes, "Oh, you mean when X character dies?" And he just starts freaking out. And I had not seen it either, but I had watched it since.
Yeah.
But the whole time I knew that this guy's fate was sealed already.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's okay. So, thank you, Ye. One thing I was thinking about too with this idea that I wish I could watch something for the first time. I'm gonna bring real quick. I'm touching my M. Night Shyamalan one.
Okay.
Sure. It's a specific scene in Signs when Joaquin Phoenix is watching the newscast, and then the alien like Bigfoots it across the screen. I jumped at that. Like I had goosebumps. You know what I'm talking about?
I do remember that. I don't remember jumping out of my skin like that.
It
but
was
yeah.
kind of shocking.
I think the biggest reaction I've had in a movie, and this was the worst one, was in I Am Legend.
Man, I thought that was a great movie.
It was a great movie, but I saw that in theaters.
Me too.
Did you cry when the dog died?
Of course.
It's pretty sad, dude.
He choked out the.
Yeah, he didn't have to choke it.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have killed him in other ways, I mean.
Narcan.
Not something so personal.
Yeah.
But I saw that in theaters, and there's audio of this whenever Peter scared me one time when I was sleeping in here, and I yelled out a curse word. When I was watching that, this wasn't even a scary part of the movie. It was at the very beginning when he's tracking like a deer through New York.
I know what you're going to say.
And all of a sudden, a lion jumps out of nowhere and takes this deer down, and it's so loud. And I'm in the middle of a packed theater, and I just yell "OF," like yell it. Like you just he's running right beside this deer, trying to keep quiet, and then this big drum.
Yeah.
I'm like, "OF!" And everyone looks back up at me, and I was like, "Sorry." And I started eating my Raisinets again.
Obscure.
Yeah.
I like it to pretend to be healthy. My candy.
A couple other ones I thought about were the first. So the way I consumed Breaking Bad was the series was already over, and I just watched the entire series in like 2 weeks.
I think a lot of people consumed it that way.
And I was recently watching, a couple episodes, and it got to the episode where Gus dies, and I remember thinking at that time, yes, it's 10 years old. When
I'm just glad he picked that scene. Earlier, he told me the scene he wanted to watch again was Walt and Sky on the fridge.
Oh, see, I thought it was going to be like Skylar and Ted.
Yeah. Oh, the cringy scene where she's singing Happy Birthday to
Ted.
That was the worst part of the show.
Or whenever Walt has to put Jesse's girlfriend's vomit back in her mouth.
Oh, man.
What is your statute of limitations on spoilers?
Spoilers?
By the way? Yeah.
I think that show, I don't know, man. I'm going to say however long ago that scene came out.
Generic.
Because
If it's been out over
Great
a
answer.
year,
Yeah.
so,
I'd see a year or two.
but okay, my
Is it
first
different
time
for TV
watching
shows?
it.
Because like you can, if a season is a year old, you still might not have had time to like go through and watch whatever it is. Sometimes 10+ hours of content.
Well, that's why I think in general, you kind of need to just feel out whoever you're talking to and see where they're at.
Agreed.
phrasing.
Feeling?
Yeah. Well, cupping.
Yeah. No one's talking about harassing them or urban miring them.
Or biting testicles.
Right.
But anyway, okay, so I thought about the Gus scene in Breaking Bad and how I reacted to it, which was the way they shot it and the door blows open.
We turned into toothpaste.
And then, but he walks out of the room, and in my head, I'm like, how do you kill this guy? And then the camera pans around, and you're like, oh, half of his face is gone. Now I get it. But I just thought the way that they did that, I thought was really, really well done, and it made me react to it for sure.
So I think another one like that where I legit had my jaw dropped and was not anticipating it was the Red Wedding.
Oh, in
Game of Thrones.
Oh, what about the end of season 1?
That's a good one too. Yeah. That one, though, I had already known about because I was like a lot of people. I got into Game of Thrones like mid-season 2 or something, so I knew that had happened. But the Red Wedding...
That one's so shocking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, especially if you're someone who was not a book reader. Like I wasn't a book reader, so I had no idea that was coming.
Books.
And then that happens, and you're just like, did half the show just die?
You kind of get mad at the end of it.
Who else is going to be in this thing now?
The one reaction video online to Ned Stark dying, which, Justin, you're probably familiar with, to this day is one of the funniest internet videos I've ever seen.
It's very good. There's just a lot of good ones from that show in general, I think. I mean...
I've never seen it.
Oh, then you don't even know what I'm talking about then, do you?
I've culturally have heard of the Red Wedding, but I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's a good one just because you think things are going really well for the main characters and they might actually get a win, and then they all get stabbed 1,000 times.
Okay.
Make sure you type in Red Wedding Game of Thrones on Google. You might find something else.
Yeah. Right.
If you just put in Red Wedding.
Oh, yeah. Says from experience.
The best thing about that, though, is there's a guy from the band Coldplay in the scene.
What?
And that just makes it a little better.
He's just doing Viva La Vida out at the side.
Like at any point, he could break into yellow.
He's just playing the scientist.
Everyone dies and they go with clocks.
But that was a cool one, too, because going back and rewatching it, they set up what was coming.
Yes. I love it when the writing is good enough on a show, they foreshadow it really well, and you don't really realize it at the beginning.
Yeah, like that was a good one because, the whole thing is the Lannisters are there and they convince everyone to turn on the Starks. And when they arrive at the quote-unquote party, you hear the Reigns of Castamere, the Lannisters, like, theme song, I guess, playing. And you don't catch that in real time. But then you go back and you're like, dude, that was absolutely them setting up what was about to happen. Do you have any other ones real quick, or should we save them?
We can save them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about those more in the WiP Around between fantasy football takes.
That's right.
But coming up next, Lando. Oh no, they're about to be here. The Boltons are going to play us. Sunday brunch. Well, at 11:19, you got Lando and you got Monty, and we were all yellow as we get ready for some Sunday brunch.
Kevin Landrum works on the weekends up here.
With the Sunday brunch on Work in Progress.
Stump Center.
It's all right. He's moved on.
It's been like almost
10.
2 years since I've run WiP. Get off my ass.
Yeah, it's all right. We get it.
Love you, Jay.
If we told him to replay the Musers talking about SMU joining the ACC, he would knock that out of the park.
100.
Cut it down to the best 7.5 minutes.
6.5.
It'd be great. But, so a couple of stories here, a couple of weird ones. So one, I'm going to ask you something that I'm almost positive you won't have the answer to, but do you know how Koreans shoot free throws?
Like that.
Granny style.
Why would you guess that?
No reason. Just guessing. Because I'm assuming.
Well, the answer is completely normal, like everyone else.
Okay.
I was going to try hook shots just to take a shot.
I was thinking of Sean Marion kind of shot put style.
No, they are actually in the KBL, the Korean Basketball League. There is a new trend that is catching on, as there are many players in the KBL right now shooting over 80% from the charity stripe by banking in their free throws.
Okay. Over 80%?
Over 80%. So they're aiming obviously for the square on the backboard,
Yeah.
and having really good results. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. It gives you an aiming point every time versus
Isn't the
trying
aiming
to
point
hit
the basket?
Yeah, but when you leave it to the basket, if you miscalculate or misshoot by a little bit, now you're leaving your shot up to an unforgiving rim. Whereas if you're aiming for the backboard, a lot of times you're going to go backboard swish and make it.
Yeah.
I had similar success on Papa Shot.
It actually does work in Papa Shot really well. Now, those balls are usually a little more deflated, and you're a lot closer. But that if you watch good Papa Shot people, a lot of them are making backboard. But it's, the granny shot, like you said, is, and this has been studied, the most efficient way to make a free throw.
Yeah.
But
that's what made Jackie Moon such a great free throw shooter.
And Rick Barry.
Yeah.
People don't like it. It looks weird. Shaq came out and said, I'd rather not make another free throw, which came pretty close, than shoot it granny style.
I'm watching videos of this right now, and yeah, it's so smooth.
It looks
too.
repeatable.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
That's what you're looking for from a good free throw shooter, is some kind of repeatable motion. And I think being able to do that is something you could easily commit to muscle memory. I wonder if that's something that perhaps an NBA player will try.
Well, I was about to say, with how badly the Mavericks were last year at free throws, maybe they should look into this.
There's differing opinions on who benefits the most from this style. So some people think that guards have a better chance of making this work because of their angle. But there's another form of thinking that says big men have a better chance of making this work because getting it all the way to the backboard requires more strength. And so if you're a big man, if you're Steven Adams shooting 30%, it won't require nearly as much effort to get to the backboard as it would a guard. If I am someone like him or DeAndre Jordan or Drummond or any of those big dudes that have a horrible time with free throws, why not try that?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you got to lose?
I would also be curious as to how that affects the team's mid-range game, too. Like, do you think...
I mean, that's what Tim Duncan did forever.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. I'd like to see someone in the NBA say, yeah, screw it, I'll try it.
Well, yeah.
It is more, if you're worried about the way it looks, more aesthetically pleasing than the granny shot. Now,
yes,
there's absolutely a stigma about banking shots in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most of that is if you don't call it. But if that's your plan, and you're calling it, go for it. I want to see Luka try it. Also, in the research on this, found out that Steph Curry's free throw swish percentage is 85%.
That's crazy.
He swishes 85%. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, interstitial.
Stomp Center.
Was that Bob Horse?
No, that was Coach O.
Okay.
Well, Monty, I stumbled across something this weekend that I had no idea about. And
Women?
Go ahead.
I just said women.
Okay, we'll get a little bit of an understanding about that. It's the U.S. Open right now, and the players are battling each other, but they're also battling something else in the state of New York. And I'm going to play.
Is this golf U.S. Open or tennis?
This is tennis U.S. Open.
Okay.
There's no more majors for golf this year. Yeah. Let's take a listen.
Excuse me, the Dunham and Miller Open is happening at the end of this month, sir.
I think you have to dump that. I don't think we're allowed to say that. I'm just kidding. Okay. So let's take a listen real quick to what's going on at the U.S. Open on the ticket as I hit play.
Players Maria Sakkari and Alexander Zverev even noticed it during their matches this week here at Court 17.
Court 17 definitely smelled like Snoop Dogg's living room.
It's something that we cannot control because we're in an open space. There's a park behind. People can do whatever they want.
In fact, Court 17 sits closest to neighboring Flushing Meadows Corona Park, a spot where we saw some folks smoking weed today.
All right, so the U.S. Open players are having to deal with Jay's favorite green plant, marijuana. And this has been affecting them for actually a couple of years, which I had no idea about. But I have a clip here of Nick Kyrgios complaining to the refs about the weed smell.
By the way, I think the most overused low-hanging fruit for talking about weed is saying it smells like Snoop Dogg's blank.
Yes. And
tour bus,
Baldy and I
living room.
were debating in the pre-show about whether he says living room or smelling room.
Even noticed it during their matches this week here at Court 17.
Court 17 definitely smelled like Snoop Dogg's living room.
What? Smelling room?
I heard living room
he
the
said
first
living
time, but
room.
now I heard smelling a little bit more.
Living room.
Living room.
He's definitely a...
It's a little bit of EA voice, that's for sure.
I'm just more upset at the lack of respect for Willie Nelson. I mean, come on.
Lors. And Lors, there was also, of course, because this is a news report, they have to interview the oldest, whitest women at this event to see what they thought about it. And this is what they had to say.
These ladies from Virginia say the pot smell Tuesday was strong and didn't go away.
I don't want to smell that. I'm not a cannabis user.
It's like, okay, great.
Oh, I don't like
great,
that devil's lettuce in my nose.
Great insight. Thank you for your report.
I'm not a cannabis user.
I also like that the guy that they threw it to.
She likes the harder stuff.
Yeah.
Well, from Virginia, probably.
Yeah, she shoots smack up her toes.
Is that they threw it to this guy, the guy doing the on-field reporting or the on-site reporting, and when they bring it to him, he's using all these old cliches about weed and weed terms, and he's like pointing to his nose, which I think is a pretty universal symbol for a different kind of drug.
Coke.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems a little out of touch. All right, that's U.S. Open.
Oh, I thought you had audio. My bad.
Stomp Center.
That's Bob Horse.
Ah, okay. The other quick note I have before we do the whip around was a couple things about Ronald Acuna. One, it's awesome that he's the first guy to ever hit 30 home runs, steal 60 bases.
An insane stat line.
He's being paid nothing.
Right.
And did you see how hard he hit a ball yesterday?
I think, did it set the record?
For the year.
Okay.
He hit one 121 miles per hour off the bat. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It went 450. The dude's awesome, and he's being paid what, like $11 million a year? $10 million a year, something?
In 2019, he signed an 8-year contract worth $100 million. That would give him 2 club options for 27 and 28.
A whopping 12.5 per year.
What a
For
steal.
The best position player in baseball.
I swear the Braves have been hypnotizing their players into signing cheap deals.
They basically tell him, like, look, we'll go ahead and lock you down now, well before you're owed, but it's not going to be for a big number. And they sign it. I mean, they did that with, I think, Ozzie Albies. They did that with, I think, Max Fried. You know, they're like, you can keep waiting, but if you want to get paid now, it's not going to be nearly as much. And yeah, I mean, they somehow get them to settle for way less. I mean, if that guy was to hit the open market right now, he would be making, I don't know, $400 million.
He would get Juan Soto money.
Yeah.
He's good.
I mean, they did the exact same thing last year with Spencer Strider.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 6-year, $75 million deal, and he's already one of the better pitchers in baseball.
And their team is amazing.
Yeah, and they're able to keep them all around because they're paying them.
I think wasn't Freddie Freeman had a small contract too, didn't he, when he was with them?
Yeah, wasn't that whole thing weird? Like, he wanted to stay in Atlanta, but they wanted to get rid of him. That whole thing was weird because that was one of the problems he had early on with the Dodgers, I think, was they just accused him of being homesick. Like, he didn't want to be there. But he's been pretty good too.
Definitely.
So is Matt Olson, who they got to replace.
Dude, that looks like a great pickup too, man.
Yeah. They're a really strong team. They recovered from the Teixeira trade very well.
That is fair to say.
Yeah. All right. Whip around. Next.
Stump Center.
Monty,
You're
let's
gonna pay for this, Rob Stock. Yeah, the music playing.
more Game of Thrones references.
It's another Coldplay song.
No, I know that.
I'm bold to fray.
Let's do the whip around.
Whip around.
Whip around.
Whip around.
I'm going to bring a guitar in and do that live one day.
An acoustic slow version.
My unplugged.
You gonna bring Slash in to re-record?
Overrated guitar player.
Whoa.
I don't think we get a Slash drive-by today, but I did bring him up. I just didn't realize that would lead to you going full guy outside the nightclub on him.
Yeah, that definitely not.
So one thing I want to get to here is something we kicked around talking at 10:50, but we're nothing if not malleable. We can change whenever we need to. We can move on the fly. But the setup for why I want to talk about this is really flimsy.
Okay.
Just because a couple of weeks ago, the old shower was on the fritz. You know, Albert, my shower chair with a poo hole, was dry as a bone. And I was having to take
a wet wipe shower.
No, that'll get you by in a pinch for a day. But I was like on a 5-day shower fritz, so I had to shower outside with a water hose.
Oh.
I mean,
hold on. I feel like, is this the second time your shower is broken in like a year?
No, so the last time would have been when Albert broke.
Oh, that was what. Okay, I got you.
And then I had to wait for the new Albert to come in. But now the shower was messed up, so had to shower outside with the water hose, which, let me tell you, really beaten sight. I only saw it from my POV, and that felt really beaten. I imagine if someone popped their head, did a Mr. Wilson over the privacy fence, they would have said that's a really beaten thing he's got going on right there. As I am holding a green water hose over my head with one hand and got some soap going in the other. You got soapy deck. The deck.
Okay.
I'm talking about the deck.
Whoa.
The actual deck in my backyard was
your
just
Richard?
covered in soap all over and on my balls.
I was waiting for that.
There's always the other shoe to drop.
Big hairy deck.
Jay, he's like, you fill in once a year now on Sunday, you let it fly. But so I'm sitting out there hosing down my deck, and I start, this is the one time where I feel okay drinking the water I'm using to bathe myself.
Was your deck contracting because of the cold water?
Yeah, it was a little smaller because of the cold. Yeah. When the person stuck their head over the privacy fence, I was like, no, it's cold outside. It's normally a lot bigger. But when people realize where this is headed, they're going to feel really weird about the setup. But
complete left turn.
I drank some of the water from the water hose, and it started flooding memories back to me from middle school football.
There it is. We've arrived.
When, again, the deck was much smaller. And
didn't have as much shrubbery around it.
And I started thinking about that in conjunction with, actual school, middle school or high school football starting back. And just, again, beaten sights. Me, in elementary going to play for like RSI or SVAA, going into this big equipment warehouse, trying to find a helmet that would fit me.
Yeah.
Trying to find 2 matching knee pads, getting those giant, bulky thigh pads that never really sat right in my pants.
No.
Getting the belt that just went between the two metal hoops.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a good belt.
Trying to find that middle ground on shoulder pads where they weren't either too big or too small.
And having to get my coach help me lock that thing in there because they had medieval locking technology on that thing. And I think you and I had the biggest problem.
Yes.
Which was our helmet.
100%.
Because for one, I mean, just the helmet in general was never really comfortable.
Right.
Like I was always one hit away from early onset CTE. Like it would have been instant. But the face mask was horrible.
Yes.
I hated, and I get why I had to have it as a lineman, which I'd rather have both of my eyes poked out than use it. But the bar in the middle was so spare. There's no way you can pick up chicks with that face mask.
I was a downfield blocker, so I was a receiver, and that was like the only helmet they had left for me. And I had, as a receiver in practice, I had the middle bar. I had a 1970s offensive
like your
lineman
night train
face
lane.
mask. Ridiculous. I got the number I wanted. I wanted 87. I got that. I was a big Joe Horn fan. But the helmet was horrible. Hated that helmet.
I was wondering why you pulled a cell phone from behind the TV earlier.
If I had ever scored a touchdown, I was going to take a cell phone out of the goalpost.
You made one good sports point. Went and pulled a cell phone out.
Yeah. But as soon as you thought, that was the first thing I thought about was that stupid helmet I had to wear.
So I think we're roughly same age. How old are you?
35.
So do you remember, because I remember being in middle school, like in 7th grade, and that was like when the Corey Stringer thing happened in Minnesota, because I remember being at the tail end of our coaches using water as like a threatening device.
Right.
Like if we didn't run the right play or whatever, they would withhold our water from us. But whenever we did finally run the halfback dive through the A-gap right one time in an hour, because I was at a terrible middle school, we finally we probably part of the reason we were not good was we never were hydrated. It was a real chicken and the egg thing. But when we finally got 1 yard on the halfback dive, we would sprint our asses off to the hose that was just
plugged into the PVC pipe?
To the PVC pipe that the coach just like plunged his buck knife into to get a couple of holes so water would come out, and it would turn into like Cambodian prison feeding time at that hose.
Your coach wasn't checking your hydration levels?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have that like sports
P
bra
chart
on, like Kyler to monitor our vitals.
I was thinking Tom Herman where he's got the P color chart.
Oh, yeah, no, like Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
No, it was more, he's still breathing. I think he's okay.
Water was a reward. It wasn't a necessity.
Yeah, it was an incentive.
At that time, the big sports movie was Remember the Titans, and
remember
Denzel
that.
Washington has that line where he's like, you only get water if you get blood on my uniform, and you don't get blood on my uniform.
I would have turned into a WWE wrestler so quick. Been pulling out little blades and cutting my forehead. Oh, coach. Thirsty.
Yeah, that was definitely because I remember we'd be like running snakes and stuff, and be real thirsty. And
he'd be like, "Why are you dragging ass? Huh? You got to. If you want some water, you better pick it up."
Yeah.
And I would, rip my bar helmet off and be like, "Well, if I had water, I could probably give you more right now." And then Corey Stringer took one for all of us, and they couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what high school practices look like now.
I think now they give them all Camelbacks.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
There's like no conditioning, no running as much. They have now a lot of places where they could practice indoors. So if it's too hot outside, they'll just move it indoors. It looks completely different even from 10 years ago when I played.
Yeah.
So if there are any
you
high
were a
school
corner.
if there are any high school football players listening, we did that for you. We went through it so that you could practice inside.
Yeah, because that kid will never feel the humiliation of not being able to see the guy in front of you because your LA looks was sweating into your eyes. Your
Did
hair
everybody
gel,
use LA looks?
Your hair gel was blinding you. That happens so much. And you're trying to wipe the sweat off, but it's just gel. And so it doesn't go anywhere.
And you can't get it all off because you got the bar in the middle.
Right,
of
I can't even access my own face. It was a horrible setup. And then, maybe I was the reason we went 0-8 every year because I couldn't block anybody. I was blinded by my hair gel. I had to keep my blonde tips looking sweet. So I wasn't going to not put hair gel in.
You are on a knife's edge this segment.
Tips, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Why would I have blonde tees? I'm not going to dye those. I'm all natural there.
There you go. I picture you with one of those haircuts that's like I picture middle school Monty with a close to shaved head, but he's got the little bang thing that was hanging down. What do they call that? The oi?
No, I mean, so like I remember the style being you would try to like make it stand up in front.
Yeah.
And that was a horrible look. I was late to school like 1,000 times because I go to my buddy Ryan's house and his mom had to take us that day. And it'd be 9:38, school starting at 8:30, and he's still blow drying the front of his stupid head. But
what were we thinking?
I don't know. Luckily, though, we had a coach who, again, was worried about our fitness and nutrition and all that, and on game days would bring us donuts and Sunny D.
Dude, the breakfast of champions.
Vitamin C and carbs,
He was
baby.
like, yeah, you want to wash down all those carbs and sugar? How about this space-aged chemical orange that you can just send it on down
I
smooth
can still
with?
taste Sunny D right now.
I don't think it's technically juice. I think it says orange drink on the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, orange drink.
Because there's not an ounce of a fruit in there.
No.
It's good, though. God. Got to wear a jersey on game day.
One of the oddest smelling drinks, I think.
It's really
ever
weird.
come across.
You know
really
what, though?
weird.
Just to bring it back to your original lengthy point was I can still taste the garden hose.
Yeah, it has a taste.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can also taste the Sunny D.
Good. Well, that's what we do here.
Going two at once?
Yeah, get you a beer helmet with
Sunny D and
with a water hose here and a Sunny D. Why not?
Metallic hose water and Sunny Delight.
Yeah.
But you know what? It tasted like
well.
summer. Tasted like summer.
Yeah, because, I mean, we would drink hose water just
and you're out in the yard playing.
ball or
absolutely
doing whatever. So, yeah, fun times.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get out of here. We have special programming tomorrow here on the ticket for Labor Day. I will be on with Travis from 3 until 7 with members of this crew. I believe Jay will be producing us, and you will be on the board, right?
I will be.
And I'll be doing tickers.
Oh,
Obviously.
man.
Oh, you're doing tickers noon to 7?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we're super partying.
The gang's all here.
Travis
Take
is gonna
that,
feel,
Daddy.
Travis is going to feel so left out. We need an inside joke for Travis tomorrow.
I think
we'll do blonde tees.
The inside joke is you washing your deck.
Soapy deck and blonde tees.
We'll do soapy
Ask
deck
him
and
if
blonde
his
tees.
wood was contracting.
There we go. And he'll just sit there like the idiot he is. All right. We'll see you tomorrow from 3 until 7.